We're going to start with a meditation, so please get ready. Cough, blow your nose, and please relax your forehead. Relax your mouth. Relax your eyes. Relax your fingers. Pull on your stomach a little bit. And come to your breath. Follow your breath. And please invite your Nama to come sit in front of you. And make them an offering, something sweet you did yesterday, even just a single sweet thought. You confess something you did negative yesterday. Small thing, but let your Nama know. and something you did. Good. Again, tell them something else you did nice yesterday. And ask them to teach you. Ask them to stay. Then decide you're going to die before sunset tonight, 6:30. Imagine, picture it, visualize it, something unexpected. And then how would you like to spend your day? We'll stay here for about 10 minutes. Can you please come back to your breath? 3 slow breaths. Then slowly you can open your eyes. Take a stretch. Okay, let's go on the scripture. Potowe kyang? Yeah, at the bottom. Potowe kyang, kapse ni ki tsembu miyong sung. Potowe was also a Kadampa, early Tibetan Buddhist. And he said, if you take a needle and it has 2 points, then you can't sew anything, okay? Like, if you try to sew with a needle that has 2 points, then it just make a mess, okay? And you see this quotation in meditation books, and it means you can't hold 2 meditation objects at one time, so you have to choose one, okay? So usually when you're doing your meditations every day, you should probably keep one for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, stick to a certain meditation or a series of meditations for 2 or 3 weeks. And then before you get tired of it, you can change it to another meditation subject. But you shouldn't try to do 2 different meditations at the same time, okay? 2 different objects at the same time. Like, I don't know, you can't meditate about your lama's eyes and then at the same time do a death meditation. You know, you have to choose one and follow it for a while, okay? So they say a needle can't sew with 2 points, okay? But here it doesn't mean that. Here it has a different meaning. And it means you can't do Dharma and expect to be famous at the same time. You got to do either one or the other. If you want to be famous, work on that. If you want to do Dharma, work on that. But don't try to use your Dharma to get famous, okay? Because when you start thinking about whether people admire you, then it destroys the Dharma right away. You won't have Dharma, okay? You may be meditating and teaching, but you're not practicing Dharma, okay? So you can't do both. You got to choose one or the other. Okay. Chiwa Madana, say le tawa minjung shing sendi le tawa machungna nyepa chungna gawa machungna migawa. Chiwa Madana means if you don't think about your death, say le tawa minjung, you won't be able to give up on this life. If you can't give up on this life, then if you get something, you'll feel very happy. If you lose something, you'll be very unhappy. If you feel good physically, you feel you're in a good mood. If you get a little bit of a cold, you start being mean to everybody. Nyan minyan. If you get a little bit famous, somebody mentions your name on the internet, you feel really happy. Minyan means if people are ignoring you and no one talks about you, you feel unhappy. Okay. If people say nice things about you, praise you, you feel good. And mepa, if they criticize you, you feel upset. Okay. Then if you don't meditate about death, you will have these 8 feelings. And if you have these 8 feelings, it means you have to do more death meditation. Okay? They gave me Luduki. Then he's going to give the source for the 8 worldly thoughts. And he quotes that verse by Nagarjuna from the letter to the friend, okay, Suhaleka. And we covered that verse already. Jikten Kemba means knower of the world. And that's how Nagarjuna addresses the king. Like, you know worldly things, but I have to teach you Dharma, okay? And then Nyeda Manye, get things, don't get things. Deda Mide, feel good today, don't feel good today. Nyenda Minyan, people are talking about you, people aren't ignoring you. Timea, people are praising you, people are criticizing you. Jikten Chugyepo, these are the 8 worldly thoughts. Daki Yiyu Mimbar, they are not worthy objects of your mind. Gonyom Zi, make your mind level, make your mind steady. Okay. Che Simbatar. Then he gives another example of Potoa. Potoa was also an early Kadamba. You purwe logyu jar. You means turquoise, turquoise stone. And it's very popular in Tibet. And silver is very popular. So some people think they're related to American Indians in this region, Navajo, Hopi, and Apache. I don't know. But Yu is a very popular stone in Tibet. Purwa means if somebody offered Potoa a turquoise, and Logyu means the story. He told us the story about Potoa's turquoise. Then he doesn't tell you the story. So I went and got the story for you, okay? It's from the Lives of the Lamrim teachers. There's a 2-volume set by one of the teachers of the Dalai Lamas. And Lenchik Jindaki Yud Trumar Champoshik. One time a sponsor gave Potoa, he offered Potoa a large turquoise with a reddish hue, okay, which is more expensive. Pua Chakta Mashepa, then he didn't take it in his hand, and he just pointed to the table. You know, he just pointed to his table. He said, Dadze means, he didn't even say anything. Dadze means he made a gesture that was like, you can put it there on the table. He didn't even want to touch it. It's very expensive. It's like a diamond. And the guy put it on the table. Then he did a prayer for the sponsor, and he for their family and for the sponsor. And then it looked like he wasn't going to take it. He wasn't going to take it home. Sangning Geshe Puno Nam Chokshandu Pep. Then all of their group, the whole group, Potoa and all his students, the next day they left. They went to another place. Jendak de Yima Chepa Shuksar. Then the sponsor thought, oh, he probably took it. They probably took it at night, you know. So he snuck into the teaching room and he went to the table. You know what happened. Jendak de Yima Chepa Satu. You did Dangang Shak the Dagarang Duk. It was just sitting there. The priceless jewel was just sitting there. And they like didn't take it with them. They forgot to take it, or they weren't thinking about it. Then all of his Geshe Potoa and his students, they didn't have much attraction to money or to physical things. What's shadak? We had it yesterday, but that was a long time ago. Shatak is colloquial. You use it a lot in the monastery. It means 100% or exclusively. So Shatachun, they weren't interested in money. And then the writer of this biography, who's one of the teachers of I think the 8th Dalai Lama, something like that, he said, if you want a real gem, this story is a gem. That kind of attitude is a gem, you know. So that was kind of cool. Ling Repa is an early Kagyu Lama, and he has a very famous verse, and I'll read it to you. Okay. So in Buddhism, we have a custom that sometimes we go to meditate in a cemetery. So cemetery nowadays is very clean, and you know. You want to hear a cemetery story? Yeah. So anyway, Dalai Lama's teacher, senior teacher, Ling Rinpoche, he came to America once, and he's supposed to be Yamantaka. He's supposed to be Lord of Death, you know, killer of the Lord of Death. And so he was, I don't know, he was like 80 years old. And I was 26 at the time, and they got a limousine, and they said, "You're going to drive the limousine," So I was his driver. I told you this story. I don't know. Anyway, and at the time I was studying Abhidharma. I was memorizing Abhidharma. So I was driving the car, and they said, when he gets in the car, don't talk to him. Don't say anything, because he's Yamantaka, and I was like, okay, and I practiced driving a limousine with this guy, and I was so scared I ran through a stop sign, and then I guess in India the important people get in the front of the car, and I was expecting him to get in the back, and he sat down next to me, and then I'm driving the car, and there's 2 high lamas in the back, and I had to drive him for like 4 hours, and I was driving, and he says, "Hey, what's your name?" I'm like, "Mike." "How old are you?" And I got scared. I said, 62. Then he laughed. He said, "Oh, you're going to live a long life." Then we kept driving, and the guy in the lama in the back said, "No, Mike knows Abhidharma really well." And so he quoted the 2nd chapter. He quoted the 2nd chapter. I just memorized that part the day before. And I was like, he's like, whoa. Then we kept driving, and then he saw a cemetery. And he said, "What's that?" I'm not supposed to talk to him. I'm like, and the 2 lamas fell asleep in the back. And he's like, "What's that?" I said, "That's a cemetery." He says, "What's that?" I said, when people die, they bury the body under the ground. He says, "What? They take a nice park and they dig a hole and they put the body in there and they cover it up and they waste the whole park just to bury a dead body?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, that's so stupid." And why don't they just burn it or give it to the birds, And, so we talked the whole way. We had a good time. And anyway, so in the old days in India, a cemetery is very frightening, very bad place, because they just put the bodies out on the ground. We were in Varanasi a few weeks ago, right? They just throw the bodies on the ground. They burn some of them. We were in the Ganges River. Sometimes you see an arm floating down. And yeah, that was where we were. Yeah. And they just throw, if they don't have enough wood, they just throw the rest of the body in the river. And that's why we got sick. Anyway, so then in the old days, Buddhist meditator will go sit in that place, and the wild animals come at night, and they tear up the bodies, and they eat the bodies. And it's very scary to sit there next to a dog that's tearing up a body, Then you're supposed to examine your mind. You're supposed to examine your own fear, And then this was a Buddhist practice for many centuries. People did that, just to check out your own fear. You can go to the side of a cliff and sit there and check your own, how do you feel about yourself? And these are just ways to check your mind. And so Lingrepa talks about a special burial ground, cemetery. Korwa Namdoku Chongkir Na. The biggest burial ground is in your own mind. If you want to go to a scary place, go to your own mind. You don't have to go to Varanasi, Just go to inside your own mind. Namdoki Chongkir. There's a whole city of stupid ideas there. Jikten Chugir, Rolangir. And there are zombies walking around in the city, like what do you call it? World War Z, zombies. I saw it in the airport lounge. There's zombies, walking dead people, And then he says those zombies, you don't have to go to Varanasi to meet a zombie. You got them in your own mind. Your mind is full of zombies. What are they? The 8 worldly thoughts, okay? 8 worldly thoughts. They are in your mind, in the cemetery here. If you need a scary place to go to your own mind. go inside your own mind. And you can meet some scary people there called the 8 worldly thoughts. Okay? You want to meet scary people? Go inside your own head. Okay? Lama Ronyom Shik Zena Derudze. Then there's a practice where a lama can kill a zombie. Okay? Alright, it's hard to kill a zombie. But a lama can kill it. Okay? And so they say if you want to go on a zombie hunt and you want to kill a zombie, then go inside your own mind. Try to find those 8 worldly attitudes like, oh, if I teach really well, people will admire me. And then try to kill that zombie. And they're hard to kill. Because they're already supposed to be dead, right? You're supposed to be a Dharma person. But they keep waking up again. Okay? Like you think, oh, I'm not so proud anymore. Then you start to get proud about not being proud. And they won't stay dead. They won't stay dead. You think you killed it. And then they get up again, So he says if you want to go to a cemetery, just go in here. And that's true, okay? I always have 2 or 3 students, they hear about this, they try to go to a cemetery, they get really cold, they don't get enough sleep, and they come home and watch TV, okay? Okay. So I got you a bunch of quotes. There are lots of lamas have talked about that verse, but if I go like that, then I can't teach you all the meditations you have to learn for the 3 days. So I'm going to skip it. But it's a lot of cool stuff. By the way, one lama says you should be like a corpse, and corpses don't get all excited if they get a new girlfriend, or they don't get all upset if they lose their girlfriend. It's just in that way you should be like a corpse. You give a corpse a yochao, and they're like, and then you take away the yochao, and they're like, and they don't get all excited. Okay. I'm at class 3, or you can just type class 3. Class space 3. Okay, good. Denat said di lut tangna tangne lo puk chula te. So now he's going to go off on something. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't talk about where he got it from, but I studied it for a long time. So there's a thing called the 10 riches of the Kadampas. Okay, there's 10 ideas called the 10 riches of the Kadampa Lamas. Okay, so they're from 1,000 years ago, and he starts to talk about them, and I would just like to take you through those 10. Okay, so I'm going to use a different commentary, and it's one that I translated about 30 years ago. Okay, they're called the 4 aims. 4 goals, the 3 diamonds, and the 3 promotions. How many does that make? 10. Okay. So the 4 aims are, and this is a meditation that you're going to do, okay? It's called practice, beggar, death, ravine. Practice, beggar, death, ravine. Ravine means a cliff. Like this is a ravine out here, this dry place. Practice, beggar, death, ravine, or cliff, like what do you call it? Wash, like this wash here, okay? Like this empty wash out here. So those are the first 4 of the 10, okay? These are the Kadampa 10 riches. So those 4 are going to be one of your meditations, okay? 4 ideas. Number 1, what was the first? Practice, okay? So this is where, you go to a retreat and your mom made you go. And you're not so interested in it, but, you want to respect your mother. And So you go to the retreat, and then maybe you get interested. You hear about some things and you say, oh, that's kind of interesting. I think I'll try to practice, and then you get serious about your practice. Okay. And it takes time to do practice. Okay. And then you want to have a career also, and if you want a career in a real company, like my company, you got to spend time. You got to put time there. You can't, you should go early. If everyone comes at 9:00, you should be there at 7:30, If you really want to become a vice president, and you have to stay after. You have to stay till 7:00 or 8:00. I did it for 19 years. I know. You got to come early. You got to set out the work. You got to read all the news. What's the economic stuff for today? Then you have to call India. Then you got to call China. Before 9:00, you got to do all this stuff. And then after work, after 5:00, everybody else goes home. You got to stay. If you want to be a big guy, you got to stay, and you look at all the computer reports and figure out who didn't do their work, and it's like 10 hours, 12 hours. You have to if you want to be, like a international VP or something. And then you go to some program and they're talking about meditating every morning and doing your yoga every morning, and then you got to go to the old folks' home and help the old lady. And you're supposed to help the poor people, and then, you're supposed to study, go reading club. Then it gets to be crunch, it gets to be a conflict, and you don't know what to do, like if you meditate and do yoga and study in the morning, you're not going to get to work at 7:30. Or you can wake up at 4, that lasts about a week. And you can't do it, you can't do both. And so, in the Kadampa system, in ancient Tibet, at some point, maybe you have to make a choice. Okay, I'm not going to be a vice president. Okay, I'm not going to be a vice president. I got to do my yoga. I got to do my meditation. I want to go to class in the evening. I can't leave at 8:00. I got to leave at 5. And I did it for many years. And I had to make those choices, and for many, many years. And I got so much hassle from people. I got so much criticism from people. Why are you going to India? I have to study, Yeah, but we have an important meeting. I'm sorry, I got to go. And it was always tense, a lot of tension, like, stay late. I'm like, no, I can't. I got a class, Well, then come early. I can't. I got to meditate, Well, then what do you want to do? You want to be a meditator? You want to be a vice president, And so at some point you got to make choices. And then that leads to the second one, which is what? Practice. And so you're never going to be as rich as other people, okay? You're not going to be. You'll never be the $200,000 a year person, okay? You make a choice, okay? If you decide to meditate and do your practice, then, you're not going to be super rich, okay? It's not going to happen, okay? And then if you get really serious, what happens? What's the third one? You die. It's like you don't have enough money to even live, Like, in America, if you don't have a lot of money, you can't get to a good doctor. You know what I mean? Like you can. My doctor, I have a doctor. I don't like doctors. Recently, I got one just for fun. And they're like, here, you need this and this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, that's $500 a month. They're like, yeah, but you should take them, And I'm like, I don't have $500. I can't. So then you make another choice, Are you going to do all the supplements, the $500 supplements, and sign up for Nerium? That's like $500 a month. And, at some point, because you did your practice, you don't have enough money to pay all the doctors, and you die. And then What's the fourth one? Cliff means, ravine means, maybe if you follow that career path, you don't leave enough money behind you for have a funeral. So they have to take your body and just throw it someplace. Maybe in modern time, this should be a dumpster. Okay, dumpster's that big garbage can behind the store. So in the nighttime, your family will take your body, put it in the dumpster, because he didn't leave us any money to give a funeral. We didn't have any money for a funeral, so just throw him in the dumpster. It smells funny for a few days. It's okay. Okay, so that's like an extreme path. Okay, so what is it again? What's the first one? Practice. If you spend the time to practice, you probably won't have time to be vice president. Less money. Less money, you can't afford expensive doctors. Die. Die, can't afford a funeral, dumpster. Throw the body in the garbage. Okay, all right? So if you do death meditation, you make those choices. Okay, you make a choice. You decide what do you want to be. Okay. All of my friends thought I was crazy. That goes to the next one, the 3 diamonds. Okay, ready? We did 4, right? Now we're doing 3 more, 3 diamonds. Okay. First one is, what is the first one? Put the uncatchable diamond ahead of you. It means if you start to practice seriously, your friends will all say you're crazy. And your family will all say you're crazy. You waste your time. What do you do every morning meditating? Why don't you go to work early, get more money, or, you spend your time doing why are you doing all that stuff? Why are you studying all day? Why aren't you out and finding a nice boy at the nightclub? Your family will start to say you're crazy. Uncatchable diamond means just go for it, okay? They will try to stop you, and they will try to say you're stupid, or, you're a strange person. What are you doing? Why are you spend all your time meditating and reading these books? Why don't you be normal person, okay? Then you have to be uncatchable. Like, you're running ahead and nobody can catch you. Your family criticizing you, and you're like, uncatchable diamond means you're like diamond. You're strong. Your mind is, stubborn like a diamond. Okay? And your family's like, rah, 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 and you're like, yeah, okay. But they can't catch you. Okay? They can't pull you back. Okay? Unabashable diamond. Unabashable is a hard word in English. Abashable means I'm embarrassed. I regret what I did. Like, I went to Arizona. I spent 20 days doing a retreat. I couldn't be at work. I couldn't be at home. My family said I made a mistake. Unabashable means I don't think so. So in the Dharma business, you have to be stubborn. Okay? People will say, well, don't you think you made a mistake going to Arizona for 20 days? You say, no, I don't think so. Yeah, but you didn't get a promotion at your job. Yeah, but I have to die, you see. I have to get ready. I have to pack my suitcase, And then your family will say, no, you're stupid, you don't have to pack your suitcase. Then it becomes tension. You want to pack your suitcase, and they don't even think they have to pack a suitcase, Then it's hard, okay? You have to be like a diamond, okay? Then I went to a big school, big university. All my friends became famous lawyers and very wealthy, like head of the Atomic Energy Commission and things like that. And then nowadays they all write me and ask me for help. Oh, I'm going to die. What do I do? Can you teach me to meditate? They wasted 30 years, 40 years. They wasted the life. And it's too late. They want to learn meditation. They're already 65. I said, why didn't you ask me 30 years ago? I was busy. I was working. I said, well, where's all the money? They said, I left it to my kids and they spent it in like 2 years. Okay. So you got to get your suitcase ready. If you think about that, you will be uncatchable. And you're just going ahead and getting your suitcase ready. And you are helping people and you want to become a Buddha. And you're just zooming ahead like a rocket ship. And everybody else is like, and you're like, okay, bye. And then you make mistakes in your Dharma practice, okay? You will make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. And then your friends will say, see, I told you, you tried that vegan diet and you got a cold or something. You know what I mean? And then you got to just ignore all the criticism, okay? People will criticize you, okay? They'll keep telling you made the wrong choice until they get old enough. Then they'll start asking you to help them, okay? Almost every student who left this kind of teachings writes me later. I call it the email. I get the email, and it's like, my husband died in my arms. What do I do? Please do something, And I'm like, I've been teaching Lamrim for 21 retreats. You didn't come to 2 of them. And now you want me to do something? I get the email. I always get the email, They don't come for 19 retreats and then they write me the email. What do I do? My husband died, or, I got cancer. What do I do? I'm like, I just spent 19 10-day retreats explaining to you what to do, but you didn't come. Okay? So, get ready, okay? Don't think the 3 diamonds mean, 1 diamond means you keep it at your side. 1 diamond is future, right? You just shoot off in the future like a rocket ship. Don't worry about what people say. About the past, okay, I made some mistakes in my practice. You can criticize me, but that's over and I'm already past that. Okay, I'm on my way. And then in your hand, you keep the diamond, super stubborn Dharma mind. And all the time with you. Okay, it's called wisdom diamond at your side. So wisdom diamond at your side means in the present time. Uncatchable diamond means in the future, I'm off. I'm practicing. I don't care what you think, I'm already on level 9, And then in the past, maybe I made some mistakes. Maybe I did too much meditation, or I made mistakes in my meditation or my practice. That's okay. But I'm learning, You can't have a life without mistakes. So just don't worry about it. Unabashable. Did you make mistakes? Yes. Were you making mistakes in your practice? Yes. So shouldn't you give up your practice? No. And then later they'll be asking you, how do I practice? Right? So just leave it, okay? And go for it. Okay? That's the 3 diamonds. Got it? You okay? 1 is future, 1 is past, 1 is now. Future means I'm going. I don't care what you guys say. If you think you're not going to die, that's okay. I know I'm going to die. I'm packing my suitcase. And then, okay, I didn't have a perfect life, but I'm working hard and I don't regret the time I spent. It was well spent. Even the mistakes were well spent, okay? And then, I'm stubborn. You gotta be stubborn in the Dharma business, okay? That's why it's so hard for Dharma people to work together. Because they're all stubborn. Because you can't be here if you're not stubborn. So don't worry about it. If you have trouble working in a group, like Shanghai group is always then don't worry about it. You have to be stubborn to be in the Dharma group. Then you put like 20 stubborn people in the same room. It's like stubborn against stubborn. Shanghai, Singapore, same, right? So don't worry about it. If you're not stubborn, you won't be here. Okay? Because the whole world is telling you you're stupid. The whole world says, why you go out in Arizona and sit there in a little house for 2 weeks? Well, you're so stupid. There's not even any internet there. You like that. I heard one lady, she said, do you have internet in the retreat? I said, no. She said, oh, I don't want to go there. Okay. All right. So don't listen to people, okay? They will come to you later and they will ask you how to meditate, how to do death. They will ask you later for help. I tell you, I've been there. All my classmates from Princeton University, they all write me now, all of them. My boss in the diamond business last week asking me questions. What do I do? I said, you just wasted 30 years. It's like, yeah, but what do I do? One of my diamond partners became my student, Yoram, right? We were diamond partners for 20 years. He wasn't interested at all. And then suddenly he's like, guess what? I need the Dharma. I'm like, okay. Now he's one of the best teachers in Israel. Okay? So don't listen to people. They will say you're crazy. You tell them they're crazy. Okay. You're not getting ready. You're not getting ready to die. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. You're eating yotaos. I'm meditating. You're crazy. Okay, the last part of those 10, it's called the 3 promotions, okay? And when you're born into a group called people, okay? When you're born into a group called people, okay? Then if you get interested in Dharma, you don't have time to be a big executive, okay? Like maybe you have to do guard duty or something like that. You don't have time with your practice. You don't have time to be a super business executive or something like that, okay? You don't have time. So you go underground, okay? That's called dogs. You join the dogs. You're born as a human, and then you join the dogs. Okay, dogs means you have an invisible job. I like to think about, I was going to work in a photomat. Photomat is a little box in a parking lot, and every hour one person comes and gives you photos to develop, and this is in the old days. And then you have the rest of the time to study and meditate, or like night guard in a warehouse or something. I like to work at 7-Eleven or Circle K, the convenience store. And everybody thinks you're stupid. That's what I put in the picture. Do you have that picture? Yeah, there's a lady. She's working in a convenience store. Everybody who comes there thinks she's stupid. Oh, you're just working for $6 an hour, You must be stupid, But actually, she's a secret Dharma yogi practitioner, okay? She's like practicing very well. She's in the morning, she meditates, she does her yoga, then she goes to the convenience store, work for $6 an hour. And she's underground. That's called dog. She reached dog. Everybody thinks she's a dog. Everybody thinks she's stupid. Oh, why couldn't you get a good job? Why are you working in a convenience store? Okay? Like, why are you such a stupid person? Okay? Then she's okay. She doesn't tell anybody she's really smart. They just say, you're working for $6 an hour. You must be stupid. She's like, yeah, okay. Do you want matches with your cigarettes? You know what I mean? Like, she's just quiet and she's working on her Dharma in here. Okay? So it doesn't matter what's your job. You can join the dogs, okay? Inside the dogs, you will find the gods. Inside the dogs, you will find the gods. It means people who go join the dogs, then they start to see devas. They start to see deities. They start to see angels in the convenience store. in the 7-Eleven, Manjushri walks in and starts talking about emptiness. Okay? Understand? So all those great yogis who met Manjushri or they met Amitabha, it's people who join the dogs. That's where you get to see the angels. Okay? Like, dog means I don't care if you think I'm a good person. I don't care if you think I'm successful. I don't care. I'm working on my Dharma practice. Okay? And I don't care. And that's the only way you can see angels. See? If you think I'm an important person, I'm a vice president, you know, if Amitabha wants to meet me, she'll have to make an appointment. You know what I mean? Like that, okay? And, but the people who are voluntarily dogs, they will meet the angels, okay? Then they will have they can hang out with angels all day in the convenience store. Okay? All right, got it? Those are the 10 riches of the Kadampas, okay? Now, you ready? You ready? Are you listening? It's all wrong. It's all wrong. Okay? If you join the dogs, you're going to make more money anyway. You can't stop it. Okay? If you're meditating, if you're practicing, okay? If you really understand Dharma, money will come to you and you can't stop it. Who built this $2 million cafeteria? Who bought this land? This land is $3 million. Who made the 30 houses? This is another $5 million. There's a $10 million in this place in the last few years. Okay? Who made it? A bunch of dogs. Okay? So if you practice well, if you really understand Dharma, the Buddha said, you will never be a dog. You will always, money will come to you. You can't stop it. Okay? So don't worry about it. The best way to get to be a vice president is to do your yoga and to do your Dharma practice and to do your meditation and to help poor people, help sick people, help elderly people, and they will make you vice president. Okay? Because that's the karma. Okay? You don't get to be vice president by coming in early. And you don't get to be vice president by staying late. Okay? You get to be vice president by making the karma. Okay? So the end of the Kadampa 10 jewels is always the same story. They always say, you can forget it. All of it. Okay? Money will come to you. Okay? Money will come to you. You want money, it will come. Okay? If you practice. Okay? If you practice well, if you understand Dharma, if you understand where money comes from, because you're meditating, because you're studying, because you're doing your yoga, because you're serving poor people, okay? Money will come to you, okay? This $2 million over here in the kitchen, we didn't have to make the money. It just came. You see, we didn't have to work. We didn't have to pay taxes. We didn't have to go through 10 years of trouble fighting for money. You know, it just came. Okay? It's much easier. Okay? Plant a seed. Then you don't have to do the accounting and you don't have to fight with the taxes and it just come. Okay? Because you understand where money comes from. So the end of the story is always the same. Lord Buddha had the karma to be king of the world for 10 billion years. Okay? He had that much extra karma in his pocket, to be king of the world for like 10 billion years. And then one day, he took all that karma and he said, I dedicate this karma to all the people who spend their time, practice, meditate, yoga, serve the poor, and who have lousy job. I dedicate all this karma to them, and they will never be poor. It's not possible. Okay? They will never go hungry. They will never die and their body is thrown in a dumpster. Okay? It's not possible. So Buddha actually he put that karma in the bank. And there's a way to give karma to other people. Okay? if you're a high person, like a Buddha. There's a way to bank karma for people. And he banked it. And he said, and then he said something really extreme. He said, if any Dharma person goes hungry because they did the Dharma, then I will not be a Buddha. I retire. Then I didn't become Buddha. Okay? Cancel it. Okay? He said that. Got it? So, this whole thing of you're going to have to meditate, you're going to have to spend time doing your practice, and because of that, you won't be a big person at work. It's not true. Okay? If it was true, you should still be willing to do it. Okay? But the truth is the opposite. Money will come to you. You'll always have enough. Okay? More than you want. Okay? Got it? Should you be willing to be poor? Yes. Should you be willing to be a nobody at work? Yes. Do you have to be a nobody at work if you do it? No, you'll be somebody. Okay? You'll be successful. You'll be super successful. Okay? You have to understand that. It looks like you're wasting 2 weeks of your time to come to Arizona, but actually you're putting a lot of money in the bank. Okay? You're actually doing something very smart. You're not losing anything. Okay? You're making extra money. It's a good investment. Okay? You had a question back there? Oh, the last three? Last two. Okay, the last three are called the three promotions. So, you are born as a human being, normal person, okay? Then if you're, what's a promotion mean? For me, promotion means two things. Number one, they come to Geshe Michael and say, you're now vice president of Andine International, okay? You get to be in charge of 10,000 people, okay? They may give you a promotion, okay? That's one kind of promotion. The other kind of promotion I like is when Scott comes to me and says, somebody paid for you to have business class to China. You get to sleep the whole way. I'm like, that's a promotion, okay? So promotion means you go up, right? So if you're lucky in this life, you'll get promoted to the dogs. Convenience store worker. Lousiest job in America. It used to be gas guy, but now you do your own gas. So, okay. And because you got promoted to the dogs, you get another promotion to the gods. Okay. Devas, angels, deities, okay? Because you're so humble. You can meet them, okay? Because you have humility. You can meet them in the convenience store. They'll come in and say, where's the Coke? And then they'll say, you want to go to Vajrayani's heaven this afternoon? And you say, well, let me show you the Coke first. And okay, really, that's how it happens. Proud people never meet those people. You see what I mean? Okay? Got it? It's the second promotion is to the gods after the dogs. Okay? Okay? But again, and we'll take a break, but never think you're losing money or, oh, I hear people say that I gave up a manager position in my job because I was practicing my Dharma. And that's wrong, okay? If you lost a manager position at work, it's because you didn't practice. Okay, understand? If you meditate well, Wang Xia in Shanghai, she's like a manager at Apple Corporation, right? And that's a good example. She's balancing her Dharma practice and her business. And Candy, they are making their business their Dharma practice, and that they're mixed together. The Dharma practice and the business are not separate. You don't have to say, I'm going to practice Dharma, I don't have time for my business. You should be able to do both. Okay, because the business success comes from meditating and from helping other people. Okay, so if you think your Dharma practice is costing you success, you have a problem. There's something wrong there. Okay, it will come together. If you know where things are coming from, success will come. If you don't spend time to learn that, you won't be successful. Okay? Got it? So meditate every day, yoga every day. It makes you more successful. Okay? You will be more successful. Maybe instead of being a vice president in somebody else's company, you will start your own company. Okay? Like that. If you're successful for somebody else, you don't have time to start your own thing. You got it? Okay. John Brady pays his workers, they work for 8 hours a day, I guess, and but they only work for 6 hours a day. 1 hour a day they get paid to meditate. And they get paid to do 1 hour of yoga a day. All his workers get paid 2 hours a day for yoga and meditation. Okay? Because he gets more work. He gets more work out of there. Better work. Okay? Got it? So don't believe this Kadampa stuff. Don't think of it that way. Many people did that. Many people made that mistake, Oh, I have to do my Dharma and I can't be successful. That's a mistake. Okay. And Buddha they spent many pages explaining it. They quoted where is that? Search for the number 60,000. Just, command F60, 000. Yeah, here. This is the story. I translated it for you. Okay? That's right there. Can you go down a little bit? A little more. This is from the Lotus Sutra. Okay? Very famous sutra. It's the most famous sutra in Japan. And it says, if you do any Dharma practice, you will never be hungry. Here it says, there will come a day when people trade a box of pearls for a box of flour. Famine, days of famine. But people who are meditating and yoga, they will never be hungry. Okay? Who said that? It's a Buddha. Okay? It's his own quotation. Okay? Got it? So don't think if I practice Dharma, if I go for retreat, I'm going to lose my job or, I won't be successful or I won't make money. Okay? It's the opposite. If you take time to learn where things are coming from, you can be very successful and have a beautiful Dharma practice. Okay? And that's the goal. Okay? Okay? Got it? Okay? All right, take a break. Okay. Dana, you okay, Adam? Dana sendi letang na lo puk chulate. If you manage to give up this life, then you're mainly focusing on your practice. Okay? Then maybe it's gonna cost you some money in the beginning. Okay? Maybe you can't be as successful in the beginning. Then okay, that's okay with me. Okay? So the transition to Dharma practitioner it might cost you some career. Later, the career will be much greater than it would have been. Okay? So you have to aim your Dharma practice at Zhang. Zhang means broke all the time. Okay? Familiar? Yeah. Okay. All right. Zhang. Then we're going to skip that whole extra piece I put in there. Dakchaki Tembe Kyang. Okay. BDAG. Yeah, keep going down. There you go. Yeah, good. Dakchaki Tembe Kyang. Kimme Kimme Paraptu Chungshin. So even the Buddha, decided to give up his palace and went out in the forest to practice. Gyaltseki Pyongyar Kundorne, he gave up all the wealth of a prince. Keniki Chu Ne Nyepe Napsa Shepa, and he got his clothes out of dumpsters. Okay, kenyik means garbage. Okay, he took his clothes out of the garbage. And I told you before, but the monks' robes with the patches, nowadays you buy an expensive piece of cloth, you cut it up, and you make patches. In the old days, you're supposed to take pieces of cloth out of the garbage and sew them together, and that's why we have these patches. Okay. Shepa lo puk chulate. So even Lord Buddha decided it was okay to give up his career for his practice. Chupuk chang late bayan, and he also aimed his practice at becoming a beggar, okay, or broke. Jay Rinpoche kyang deshinze, and Jetsokapa did the same thing, okay. Jetsokapa never had a job, okay. I mean, it sounds easy now, but it was hard at the time. Sometimes they had like $2 or $3 or something. Okay. Chuputang la tepa Jesu sema nene shiwar mingyoram nyamba chuna. Let's do a meditation here. Okay. I'm just trying to get you ready for your meditations. Okay. This will be the fourth one that you'll do in the 3-day retreat, okay? Meditation number 4. Who is that guy and why is that picture there? What's he doing? He's a barista. Good. Who said that? Yeah, I think if Milarepa was alive today, he would be a barista. It means he's not making much money. He's just working in a coffee shop, okay? It looks like he's not successful, but the reason he's a barista is in the morning he has to meditate, he has to do his yoga, he has to do his study. And so he goes at 9 o'clock and he opens the coffee shop, okay? And people think he's just a dumb guy who can't get a better job than that. But actually, he got promoted to the dogs so he could see the gods. Okay, got it? You got it. Okay, here we go. We're going to do meditation number 4. He's a barista, but he looks pretty happy to me. So relax your face. Relax your hands. Come to your breath. And think about your practice, all the things you do. Hopefully some daily meditation. And some yoga practice. Some study. Keep track of your vows. Help other people. And then think about making money. And that in the beginning, you might not have time to spend a lot of time making money. You might have to give up some of the money making time for your practice. And get used to it mentally. We'll stay here for a few minutes. And then if it got very serious and you couldn't afford expensive treatments by doctors, and if it cost you your life, would it be worth it? And then even if you died and your body was just lying in a house, nobody cared, nobody knew about it, would it be worth it? And come to your breath, watch your breath. 3 deep breaths. Then you can slowly open your eyes. We're going to start at Chupuk. His other girlfriend. Chupuk Tangla Tepe Jesu Semanyene. If you think, oh, I won't make enough money, I won't be able to support myself. Shiva Mingyoram Nyambachuna. Maybe I could even die because I don't have enough money to, get good treatments and things like that. You should be willing to project your poverty to your own death. It's no problem, okay? You should think like that. If I do it for my Dharma practice, it's okay. Deta le tangyang, Shepat sawa chene doktir, shiwe tamme. Deta le tangyang means you might give up on this life in this way, but Shepat sawa chene doktir we should talk about, okay? Tok means lata tatano de togasa. Tok means to be hungry. Trogotoso means yo tengo hambre. I'm hungry. Okay? Trogotok. So tok means to be hungry. Chi means, do you know? Chi. Chi means a knife. Okay, so tok chi on the knife of hunger. Shiva. To die on the knife of hunger. It means to die from hunger. Okay? Tamme. Tamme means no Dharma person ever died from hunger because they practiced Dharma. Okay? Timbakarin Chengi, our teacher, the Buddha, a teacher of kindness, Korgyur Trukji Sunam, he had enough karma to be king of the world. Chiduk. Chi means 10,000, Druk means 6, so 60,000 times. He had enough karma to be king of the world 60,000 times. Rangchakla Ngor Zepa, but he Ngoa to us, dedicated to us. Do we ever do Ngoa? When? At the end of class, we always give away our good karma. Okay? So Buddha did that for us. Okay? Buddha gave us his good karma. He could have been king of the world for 60,000 times. Okay? 60,000 lifetimes. Jigten na mukhe cheda mudik je wake up. So even if in the world there comes a time when you have to trade a spoonful of pearls for a spoonful of rice or something like that, okay? Famine. Jungna, Jane Juk Suang. Jane Juk Suang, Dr. Shiva Min Jungde. Jane Juk means follower. Jesu Jupa means person who comes after. So Jane Juk means follower. Doctor, to die on the knife of hunger, to die from hunger. Minjung. It never happened. Okay? People practicing Dharma will never go hungry, die from hunger. Gomchen Turma, then there's a saying in Tibet, it says, Gomchen Turdumachene. If the meditator doesn't come out of their retreat cabin, down out of the mountain from their retreat cabin, the food will roll up. Like cupcakes and stuff will roll uphill to them because the karma is so strong of a meditator. So you don't have to worry that you're not going to have enough money, okay? Give up worrying that if you practice you won't have enough money. Just give it up. It's not going to happen. Okay? Just stop worrying about it, okay? It'll come. I don't mean you should be a Dharma bum. I don't mean you should stop working and go live in your friend's house and eat all their food and they're working, but you're not working because you're religious and they're not, you know, and that's not good. That's not fair, okay? If you decide to practice full time, then you take the responsibility for it and you take the consequences of it, okay? But you don't go grubbing off other people, okay? That's a really bad habit. Okay? If you decide to be a yogi and not make much money, then you live with it, and you don't go bothering other people. You don't write your mom and say, "Send me money, I'm a yogi." Okay? If you decide to be a yogi, then be a yogi, but don't bother other people. Okay? Okay. That's just lazy. Okay? A lot of the people who decide they're going to be a full-time yogi are just lazy, and they spend the time on Facebook and watching videos, you know? And then they call their friends and say, "I'm practicing, can you bring me food?" You know? Okay? If you're really full-time Dharma, if you're really working full-time in a heavy retreat or something, that's okay. You can ask people for food. But make sure you're not just being lazy, okay? That's a bad habit. That's a really bad habit. Dharma bum. Okay? Dharma bum. Okay? That's not a good thing. And I don't think we should put up with it, okay? In our own group. You know, someone comes to you and says, I couldn't get a job, I'm too busy meditating. You say, okay, keep your hours on your notebook and show me. You know what I mean? Like that, okay? Show me you're not just watching Facebook all day, okay? I don't think you should support them. If the person's not like really full-time Dharma practice, I don't think you should support them. Okay, and that also, in my mind, it's true of a lot of monks and nuns. Okay, in the monasteries, in those big monasteries, a lot of them aren't doing anything. Okay, so just because they have a red robe on, be careful. Someone asks you for money, say, "Show me what you're doing." You know, show me how you spend your day. You know, they say, "Donate money to our monastery." You say, "What are you guys doing there?" You know, show me, if you're going to donate money to a monastery, then they should show you what they're doing, okay? Because a lot of monasteries, they're just sitting around. They're not doing anything, okay? There are some people working very hard, really hard. And then there are many people not doing anything. So we have to, if you're a sponsor, it's hard to be a good sponsor. You have to be a responsible sponsor. And you have to say, "Show me what you're doing," okay? John has a system with his Dharma employees that they have to put into Dropbox every day, every week, what they did, how did they spend their time, every hour. How did they spend every hour? I think you should ask those monks. Okay, they say, "Oh, make a donation to my monastery." I say, "Show me what you're studying, or show me what your schedule is." And, some of them are just sitting around. Okay, and it's bad. That's caused trouble in the past. Okay, hundreds of years. Okay, all right. Geshe Benki Kyang. Na mike du kor sun serma dawa tak kyang da mang sun nyung. This is very hard Tibetan. It's very hard to translate. Geshe, it means Geshe, right? And Ben is his name, his personal name. Maybe he plays guitar too, I don't know. His name was Geshe Ben. And he was, sometimes he's called Geshe Ben Jakma. Jakma means bandit, outlaw, thief, steals things from people's house. Okay? And his career before he was a Geshe, he was a thief. Okay? Sometimes they call Geshe Ben Jak. Jak means thief. Or not, how do you call? The guy who meets you on the road and points a gun at you, and not the guy who sneaks in your house. Like a bandit. No, he's not the kind who sneaks in your house at night. He's the guy who meets you on Highway 10, stops your car, puts a gun up your head and says, "Give me your money." Okay? Bertha knows these guys. Yeah, she had it with the gang in Mexico. Anyway, Benki Kyang says, Mikya means, kya means what? Sakya means what? Sakya. Gray or pale. Okay, pale. And in the old days, the word for a layman was mikya, white clothed person, as opposed to a red clothed person. So when I used to be a mikya, which means, sometimes they say kyami, sometimes they say mikya, it means a lay person who's not a monk. Before I became a monk, korsam serma dawatak, I wore the 3 serma. Serma means a thorn, like on a cactus, is called a serma. But in weaponry, it means a spear, arrow, and knife. Okay? So he wore a sword, a spear, and arrows. And Ja Mung, he had lots of enemies. And Sung Nyung, he had not too many friends. Okay? All right? Na Ngum Posheng Nimo Lake Jakpache. So I used to be the guy who would go up alone on the mountain passes and rob people. Okay. Michik la du kel shichu doi shin yupe. Mitso nge ming shichu dik. They used to call me, I stole a lot of people's property and I had a lot of farm income, and so people would call me Mr. Rich Farmer. Okay. Sutak, they call me that. Nimo lake jakpache. In the daytime, I rob people in the passes. Temo trongi kuman chekyang. And then I started to get into, what do you call that? Burglary also. I used to steal things from people's houses at night. Kuman chekyang. Dadu se kun newa le machung. And it got harder and harder for me to get money. So I expanded my criminal operations, but I got less and less income. Okay? Tatani chechepe. Now I decided to be a monk and do Dharma all day. Sega pombame. And food just comes to me. And clothes just come to me. And people like me better. And suddenly all my enemies are gone. Okay? All right. It means you don't have to worry you won't have enough money. Okay? Okay. Then there's a bunch of stories about him, and I don't have time to tell them. Shamba miro shindu lokyo na. Duyan gyag Duyan Jagoshin do Timne on. All your desires for things, if you kill them, right? Like I need more clothes, or I need more shoes, or I need a better car, okay? All those desires, if you kill them, okay, kill those desires, then vultures will come. The birds who eat the corpses, they will come. And that's money and friends. Okay? Got it? If you kill your desires, the vultures of money and friends will come to you to feed on the corpse. Understand? When you kill somebody, then the birds come to eat the dead body, right? But if that dead body is your desire, if you kill that desire, then money will come, friends will come. Okay? Kill your own desires, and money will come, and friends will come. Okay? Like birds, like vultures. Okay? Servitor insu. Jetson kape sok chinne namka da nyamba yang selo tang ni chushin di zele chung. The reason why Jetson Kappa's mission in the world was so successful was that he gave up on life. Okay, and he was internationally successful. You know, all the Mongolia, China, Afghanistan, they all became Buddhists. Okay, he was successful because he gave up on this life. Okay, physically he was very successful. Okay, the Emperor of China asked to be his student. Okay, and he didn't have time to go teach him. He sent the founder of Sera Monastery. Okay, so the reason he was internationally successful was he gave up. He didn't want anything. Okay, he gave up on things. Okay. Sakya Bashiki, Sakya Washiki, J Lama Wangdu, Drupa Ja Samni Wangdu Tamjeki Nangne Kansap Che Shutsu. Then there was somebody at Sakyapa who saw how successful Jetsun Kappa was in a worldly way, and he said, "Are you using black magic?" He said, "Can you teach me the black magic you're doing to be successful?" You know. So he thought he was doing black magic, but he was actually what? He just gave up on being famous and getting attention and things like that. Okay, he gave up on those things. He did a lot of death meditation, okay? And he didn't want those things. He gave up on those things, okay? And that's why he got so successful. So if you devote your time to meditation, practice, hard study, all the success you think you lost will come more. More will come to you, okay? Much more, okay? You're not losing anything, okay? Shiwetso ro dorchetsun la kacha chungse goshina. Kacha here you should learn, okay? Kacha means box. Money. Little bit of money. Shiwetse ro dorchetsun la. But if I don't make any money at all, what are they going to do with my body after I die? Shina. Shiwetse anjita chene shinang shi she shipuksu dropo. So you should be willing to push your poverty to your death, and you should be willing to push your death to some empty place in the desert where they throw your body. Okay? Dumpster. Dumpster behind the thing. What's the thing? It's a gas station between here and Tucson. They say they have a monster inside. You have to pay $10 to see it. If you see it, you're not allowed to tell anybody. I'm sorry. But they have a garbage can in the back that nobody looks at. Okay. Shiwetseyan jita shine shinan shi pusutopo. Tombala tepa sok. Kadam pugnor chu. Pugnor chu means the ultimate 10 riches. Okay, there's the Tibetan for it. Pugnor chu. Puk means long term. So Gepasum, Mile Kyang, Who's Mile? Yeah, Milarepa. So Milarepa is a very famous meditator from, 800 years ago. Shinangumi meching rola kormi mena sambat zopa sunso. My hopes will be achieved if when I die there's no one to cry for me, and if there's nobody standing around the bed. Okay, then my practice is complete. Rangi ro torwe nguche gunyam yang niso kyukto te nyudu bub tap chepale ro mel sar lu joe topa tene nigo. You don't have to worry that you have to leave a lot of money behind for a nice funeral because nobody likes a corpse anyway. And they're going to get rid of you as fast as they can. So don't think, if I don't leave enough money for a nice funeral, I'm not happy, okay? Because the only thing your relatives want after you die is to get rid of your body as fast as possible. Kyukto means it's disgusting. The corpse is disgusting. Kyukto means makes you want to throw up. Okay, Kyukto de nyodu bu tap chepale. They will get rid of you as fast as they can. Don't worry about how you're going to look on the deathbed. You won't be there very long. Okay. If you give up on wanting to be famous and you just devote yourself to your practice, you will get famous by accident or by karma. Okay? And if you try to be famous, you won't be. Okay? Got it? So if your practice is really pure, then Deki Nyen means happiness, joy, and fame. They will follow you. Okay? If your practice is good over a long period of time, then you will get famous anyway. You can't avoid it. Okay? If you try to get famous and that makes your practice dirty, then you won't. You'll just always be trying to be famous. Okay? Deki Shinduo. Dena jikten chike dindu nyawani jikten bayinla sendi lo tomba chepayente. So how do you decide if somebody is a Dharma practitioner or just a normal person? What's the division? Is it the robe? What is it? Yeah, it's the 8 thoughts, okay? If you don't have them, you're a real monk. If you do have them, you're not a monk. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, okay? Right? Tombayinte, Geshe Potoe, Dromtun La, Geshe Potoa said to Dromtumba, Kadampa Lamas, Chudan Chumayimbe Namti Kanglak She Shubar. He said, what divides Dharma people from other people? How do you draw the line between Dharma people and other people? It's called tikpa, okay? Tikpa means when you do a mandala, when you do this sand mandala, you have to snap lines. You hold the string on this side, you hold the string on this side, colored string with color powder on it. 2 people hold the string and then one person goes like this, tick. It's called tick. I used to do it for a carpenter for 3 months in the summer every year. You just snap lines on carpentry. Okay? So anyway, how do you snap the line between a Dharma person and a non-Dharma person? What's the line between them? If something makes you a nicer person, it's Dharma. Mendona Chemin. If it doesn't make you a nicer person, it's not Dharma. Okay? That's all. Pretty easy. Jiktemba kundami tumba chuyin. Tumba chumin. If your viewpoint matches that of the general population, you're probably not doing Dharma. If your viewpoint doesn't match the viewpoint of the general population, you're probably doing Dharma. Okay? Your viewpoint's going to be different. What you think is important is different. I took care of my Lama for 30 years, and people told me all the time he was taking advantage of me, and I was naive, and I was stupid, and he was taking advantage of me, and it's the opposite, right? Like he saved my life. I got everything from that. Okay, so don't listen to people. Okay, it's not true. I did it for 30 years. I'm very happy, extremely grateful. Okay. Chodang jiten gyal gyal we ne de yin ki kaden che gyu dan shi kang kyang gyu ni ka su kyang chok. Chodang jiten gyal gyal ne pende. That's what makes Dharma people different from other people. That's why it's opposite Dharma person and other people. Kaden che gyu dan shi kang kyang gyu ni ka su kyang chok. How are you ever going to have time to study Dharma deeply and take care of a large house and many things? Okay, you got to make a choice. Okay, you won't have time to feed a large house and lots of possessions and do all your Dharma practice. You won't have time to do both. You will never have time to do both. Chok means have time. Okay, do you know michok me? Yeah, there's a certain meditation stage you have to reach to see emptiness directly, and it's also called michok. Okay, michok me. Okay, hang in there. We got 15 more minutes. I know you're tired. I don't care. Rangre chugela tukdam ki kil to chepe, lu chube sugnyan samne, samji ten kimbadan kimepa din jung. Chugela tukdam til de cheba. Tukdam til de che. Til means your, what do you call this? Palm. Okay? Tukdam til means to make something your main practice. Okay? Tukdam means your heart practice. So, what do you make your heart practice? Til de chepa. If your outside appearance is very, what do you call it? Monk? You look like monk outside. You have red robes and you're always like this, you know. Okay, but Sem is Jikten. Sem is, what do you call it? All wrapped up in the world. Then, Kemapa Dijung. Then you're just a worldly person. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you look like outside. It matters what you're doing. Okay. What's the main way to prevent getting wrapped up in this life is chiva mitapa. Yeah, death meditation. Okay. If you don't give up on this life, short drawway. All your thoughts will be about this life. So from our side, we have to try to level out those 8 attitudes. To good tamsum. To food. Like, what's the next feeding? What is Geshe Michael going to have for lunch, Andriana? Okay, to good. Yeah, what should I wear today? Tam? Yeah, people saying, let tam, give it up in your mind. They told me say kyang. How do you know you gave it up? Gyawang Kelsang Dam Pension Losang Yeshita Gwete. So there are 2 Dalai Lamas he mentions here. One is Gyawang Kelsang Gyatso. Gyawang is the Tibetan word for Dalai Lama. They don't say Dalai Lama. They say Gyawang. Okay, Gyawang means king of the Buddhas or something. Gyawang. And one is Kelsang Gyatso, 7th Dalai Lama. Okay, very great tantric practitioner. And then Penchen Losang Yeshi. Okay, who you know. These 2 great lamas. Gyawang Kelsang Dordio Dang Chuga Namsum Ne Rangi Yin Yamba Shen Me Sung. Somebody asked that Dalai Lama, how much stuff do you have? He said, I got 3 things. I own three things. They said, how much stuff you got? They have a palace, right? Potala Palace, 1,050 rooms. And they asked him, how much stuff do you own? He says, there's only three things that I own. My bell, my vajra, and my robes. If I think, what do I own? What's mine? It's just those three things. My robes, my bell, and my vajra. That's all I own. Pension losan yashi lang muta ta migma gya puwalang manyeto. Then this pension lama, this older pension lama, somebody offered him 100 ingots of gold, bars of gold, silver, sorry. And he got upset. And he said, what am I supposed to do with that? How can I carry this stuff around? And he said, take it, get rid of it. Manyeto. Rang re togu tamsum ki shambale gashik chik, gashik ni sum ke chingwayen. So you have to judge which of the Togu Tamsum you have a problem with. Some people have a problem with one of them. Some people have a problem with two of them. Some people have a problem with all three of them. Okay, like I have To, but I don't have Ke so much. What? I'm always thinking about what the next meal is going to be, but I don't care so much about what my clothes are. Okay, Tam. I like it a lot. I like to be, be in the public and like that. Okay? So I have two of the three. Then you have to check which ones you have. Okay? Do you have a food problem? Do you have a clothes problem? Stuff problem? Or do you have want to be famous problem? Which ones? He says that some people are chingwa by one, some people are chingwa by two, and some people are chingwa by three. Okay? What's chingwa? Huh? Chingwa, that's chingwa. Chingwa. Chingwa means handcuff. Okay? What do you call it? Chain. Okay? Some people have chain to their food. Some people chain to their clothes. Some people chain to want to be famous. Okay? So which one do you have? You have to decide. Okay? Some people have all three. Which of the three is most difficult to give up? What do you think? Tam, yeah. I want people to talk about me. Desire to be famous is the hardest one to give up. Pang kasha means most difficult to give up. Tam is the desire for recognition. Ketsen tun gom su yin kyang tam nyan mang yang. So many great practitioners, many meditators, many Dharma people, the one they had the most trouble with was number 3. I hope people notice I'm a great meditator. I hope people see how generous I am. I hope people understand how many Tibetan words I know. Okay? Drapamam. Gyardoi gumbo, tsendi ketsun gomchen yang, tsendi ke lo tsun lo du. Samje yatem yike chi, mida mite gomchen yang, tsendi gomche sang lo du. Chedan. So there was a Lama named Gyardoi Gumbo, and he said, tsendi ketsun gomchen yang, even people who are great scholars of Buddhism, or they are great monks or nuns, or they are great retreaters, they're hoping that people heard that they are great scholars and great retreaters and great meditators. Okay, deep in their heart, they feel really happy when people hear, oh, he did a 3-year retreat, They're like, don't tell anybody. I mean, yeah, you can tell a few people. Like you meet somebody. I met this guy. Where was that? Oh, in India. I met him on the stage. He came up on the stage to sign a book. And in the time it took to sign the book, he told me 3 times that he was a championship boxer 20 years ago. And we're like that, We're like, what would you like for breakfast? And, what's the news in the Middle East? And did you hear I did a 3-year retreat? Like that, You're hoping somebody will tell somebody. Okay. Samjay yatem yigeti. People put the retreat marker on their door. Mida mite gomchen yang. And they decide not to meet anybody. But sendi gomchen salong du. But they're hoping everybody heard about it. Oh, I put a marker on my retreat door. I'm in deep retreat and I'm not going to meet anybody, but I hope everybody finds out. Okay, Chebar. Tana konjo chupare chekyang mi tong dure. It even gets so bad that when we put an offering on the altar of a little cake or something, we're like, we're hoping somebody will see that we made a nice cake and we're putting on, or, look at the nice flower I offered to my Lama, and then you're like giving them the flower and you're like, And we all have it, okay? If you think you don't have it, you're stupid. I have it, you have it, we all have it, okay? Don't think you don't have it. I have it. We all have it. If you know you have it, you're smarter. Okay? Everybody has it. Okay? Everybody. Okay? It's better to know you're stupid than to think you're smart. Okay. Tana konjo chupare. That should go down in some kind of quotation book. Check out me tondu. Yachet saute kachi gomchen dan drupto. 2 more minutes. Kachi gomchen dan drupto to nom shing togu la che kurte. Meto dan du chu nenso kachi la tsunyang. Ting ne tam du chungse re mepakan. It's very rare to find a person who doesn't have any desire to be well known by other people. Even people who go into who make a big deal about fasting or being in deep retreat, and they live off of meto, means flower essences. They can live off little pieces of flowers for 6 years or something. I met 2 guys who did that. They decided they're from Europe. I don't think they're from Germany, but maybe, I don't know. But they heard that you could live off pieces of flowers and called du chulen. Chulen means the inside of the flower, those little things. It's supposed to be if you make little pills from that, you can eat it and you don't have to eat for like 3 years. So they did it. And they looked terrible. They looked like they didn't eat for 3 years. And they were so like, look, we did it, And I'm like, no, if you really do Chulen, you're supposed to look great. Okay? If you really know this magic practice, you're supposed to look great. Your meditation sustains your body. You're supposed to look really healthy. You're not supposed to look all skinny and half dead, Okay? So they're trying very hard to do fasting and not to eat and live off these little pieces of flowers. But tingne means deep down inside. Ting means deep down inside. Tingne, tam. They want people to say, "Oh wow, he's not eating," To find anybody who doesn't want that is kun. Kun, very rare. That's the kun in what? Koinchong, okay? Very rare to find somebody who doesn't want it, okay? And we all have it, and it's better if you know you have it, and then you can control it, okay? It's like you have a addiction to alcohol or pornography, or you have addiction to food. It's better if you know you have it. If you try to pretend you don't have it, then you have a problem. Okay? It's better to know you have this addiction to wanting other people to say you're cool. Okay? And then you can deal with it. Then you can manage the addiction. Okay? But if you don't admit it, then you have a problem. Okay? We all have it. Okay? All right? Okay. And you have to fight with it.